Hello, Bridges students. Happy Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Today I'm going to be reading with you a book from our school library called Paper Sons, Lee's Journey to America, written by Helen Foster James and Virginia Shin-Mui Loh, and illustrated by Wilson Ong. So come along this ride with me. What's this? Lee thumbed through pages of Chinese words telling another person's story. Your coaching book. You must learn every detail. You'll be questioned in Gumsan. Popo touched Lee's cheek. You'll leave for America in 3 weeks. Why can't I stay here with you in Gong Gong? Lee had just celebrated his 12th birthday, but felt little and lost at the thought of leaving his grandparents. So in Chinese, Popo is grandmother and Gong Gong is grandfather. Before your parents were killed by bandits, they bought you a paper sun slot from Uncle Fu. They spent all their money and borrowed the rest. Gong Gong and I have been saving money to pay off their debts. How much did it cost? $100 for each of your years. That's too much money. Can we get it back? Lee knew they needed farm equipment and a new roof. He remembered nights he'd gone hungry, dreaming of steamed fish and with brown sauce and long noodles with chicken and bok choy. This is better for your future, our future. Look at the Chans. Chan Ho was sent to Gumsan. Now he sends money home every month, and they never worry about being hungry. I don't want to go. In Gumsan, mountains are topped with gold and streets are paved with silver. Our mountains are topped with wars and our streets are paved with bandits. Gong Gong and I are old and sick. This is no place for you. How will you work our land without me? We'll manage. You must go and make us proud. Lee didn't want to travel to the land of the flowery flag, but knew Popo was speaking the truth. I'll go to Gumsan and send money for food and medicine. I'll make you proud. Popo wiped away a tear. You've made me proud already. My name is Fu Li. My father, Fu Ming, is an American. I was born on... Lee studied his coaching book. He was no longer Wang Li. He was Fu Li, his Chi Ming, his paper son name. He would have a new family. He'd have to forget about Popo and Gong Gong. Popo stopped her stitching. In your heart, you'll always belong to me. Have you ever had a time where you had to leave your family? How did you feel? Lee memorized every detail of his paper family. The village temple faced southeast. Their clock sits to the right of the family portrait on the altar. Every night, Popo quizzed Lee. How many windows are in the Fu house? 3. No, there are 3 doors and 5 windows. Study more, Popo scolded. Gumsan men ask for your paper father the same questions. They compare answers. You must convince them you're Fu's real son. Otherwise, we'll lose the money and I'll be deported. Popo continued stitching. No need to think about that. You'll make us proud. He's studying for a test. Lee traveled to Canton, where he boarded a train to Hong Kong. He marked the day in his mind, the year of the tiger, in 1926, 4 days before the Lantern Festival. In Hong Kong, he boarded a large ship called the SS President Lincoln. He would rather be on the farm, rubbing Popo's feet and listening to Gong Gong stories. His fingers traced the rim of his cap, feeling Popo's careful stitching. Lee spent days on deck, away from the stale dampness of his quarters. He spent nights dreaming of his true family, but the details of Fu's village filled his mind. My name is Fu Li. My father, Fu Ming, is an American. I was born on... On the 21st day, a booming voice shouted, "I see land, Gumsan!" Lee remembered Popo's words. Don't trust anyone. Don't let anyone see your coaching book. If people saw it, they'd know he was a paper son. Lee dropped his coaching book into the chilly waters. So he needed to keep all that information in his head now. He doesn't have that book to study from anymore. In San Francisco, Lee and other Chinese were taken on a small boat to Angel Island Immigration Station. Lee's sea legs felt like limp bamboo as he walked on the dock. Guards, look ye, barked orders, and an interpreter repeated them in Chinese. Men to the right, girls on the left. The men and boys formed a line for medical exams. They took off their shirts. Lee felt ashamed. A man put a cold metal circle on his chest. He poked and prodded. Lee noticed 2 men and a boy were sent to one side of the room. They were coughing. He heard whispering. They'll be returned to China. Such shame. Lee stood tall and looked strong. The examiner nodded at Lee and pointed to the side of the room with healthy people. Lee's heartbeat calmed. More orders were barked. Follow me to your dormitory. They were led to the woodhouse, muck-up. Inside, metal beds were stacked 3 high. The lowest bunk was Lee's. Everywhere a hand could reach, words were carved or written on the walls, telling stories of people who had been here before. Lee ran his hand over the Chinese characters, reading them aloud. Imprisoned in this wooden building, I am always sad and bored. Did you know that these words and these engravings are still at Angel Island Immigration Station? If you go there and visit, you can see them. A head poked down from a bunk above and said in a familiar dialect, Read more. Practice your reading. Who are you? Call me Tai. Lee read while Tai listened. It is a pity for heroes to be contained. We can only wait. Then with a bang, a guard placed the bar across the door. In the morning, the guard removed the bar. Everyone walked in line to the dining hall. Hungry, Lee ate the tasteless juk, rice porridge. In the yard, Lee recalled each fact in his coaching book. He saw others sitting alone and wondered if they were doing the same. So he was studying in his head right now. An older boy grabbed Lee's cap. Here, catch this, he yelled to another boy. Lee shouted, Give it back! Give it back now! The boys laughed while Lee shuttled between them, begging for his cap, his only reminder of Popo in his real life. Lee fought back tears, trying to grab his cap. Tai stepped between the boys, intercepting Lee's cap. Take better care of your belongings. Before Lee could thank him, Tai was gone. Lee joined Tai on the bench and pointed to a newspaper. Are you going to read that? Practice. Read it to me. Lee read to Tai. Tai asked, Can I trust you? Lee remembered Popo's words. Don't trust anyone. But Tai had helped him with those 2 mean boys. Lee nodded. Tai handed Lee an orange. Inside the orange peel was a note. Where did you get this? Tai said, My father paid kitchen help to pass this to me. Can you read it? Lee nodded and read the tiny Chinese characters. Baby niece born 2 months ago. Name is Moi. Tai bowed his head, repeating the words. Lee whispered, You're a paper son. Tai's face changed. Don't say that. It's okay, Lee whispered. So am I. Be careful who you talk to. Don't trust anyone. Weeks later, Lee was called into the interrogation room. His stomach churned. One small mistake and he would be sent back to China. The interrogator asked questions. An interpreter repeated each question in Chinese. What's your name? Fu Li. What's your father's name? Fu Ming. Where was he born? San Francisco. In Chinatown. How many windows are in your house? 3. No, 5. The men looked at each other. Lee took a deep breath. 3, 5. What's your answer? I'm sorry, I'm nervous. There are 3 doors and 5 windows. Where is the rice bin? On the right side of the kitchen door. Where do you sleep? In the bedroom I share with my cousin. So he's taking an interview or doing an interview with immigration. They asked questions for hours. Lee grew tired and confused. His cap slipped from his nervous fingers. The interpreter picked it up. He whispered, "Hide this. Don't bring it into this room again. Trust me." Lee took his cap and nodded, confused as he remembered Popo and Ty's words to not trust anyone. The interrogators talked in hushed voices. Lee couldn't understand. He studied their faces. Finally, the interpreter spoke. "You may return to the dormitory." Questions consumed Lee's thoughts and tied up his stomach. Did I answer the questions right? Did I say anything wrong? A week later, a guard led Lee to the interrogation room again. The interrogators stared at Lee. "Your father said the rice bin was to the left of the door, not to the right." "We moved it since he left China. Rain damaged the left side of the door. My father wouldn't have known that," Lee answered confidently, even though he wasn't. The interrogator asked one last question. "Why do you want to live here?" Lee was nervous. It wasn't one of the answers he studied. He decided to tell the truth. "I want to make my family proud. There are more opportunities in America." Three days later, the guard opened up the dormitory door and called, "Fu Lee?" The interpreter was waiting for him. "The interrogators liked your last answer. Good fortune to you in Gumsan." Then he whispered, "You remind me of my own little boy." Lee bowed to him and returned to the dormitory. "Are you going to be landed?" Ty asked. "Yes, tomorrow." "Why are you sad? People have been waiting months to leave this place." Lee wanted to tell Ty how a part of him wished he'd failed questions so he could return to China, to Popo and Gong Gong. "I'm scared. I've never met my father." "Trust me, you'll be fine," Ty smiled. "I didn't want to come either, but now I need to stay." That night, Lee added their story to the wall. "I didn't want to come, but now I need to stay." In the morning, Lee gathered his belongings. He felt his cap's rim and read Popo's tiny secret stitching. "Trust your heart." Lee put on his cap and walked out of the wood house. He was landed. In San Francisco, his new future greeted him. Lee welcomed his paper father like Popo had taught him. "Hello, my name is Fu Lee. My father Fu Ming is an American, and so am I." And there's a little bit of the history of Angel Island, which is an island in the San Francisco Bay. What did you think about the story about Paper Sons? Do you have anything that you connect in terms of things that happened to young Lee, in terms of him immigrating to the United States? My family had to immigrate to the United States when I was 2, and my mom had a sister here, and so we joined her in America, and we had some other aunts and uncles, and that's how we came. And so it's interesting during this month as we think about different immigration stories, and I hope that you'll take a moment to think about what kind of family connections you have to young Lee after listening to our story today. I love you, miss you, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.